here we go.
I love them.
So the first thing I'm going to do is, you can see the background is a lot of greens. So I am definitely going to mix up some greens, and I'm going into my green pile and I'm grabbing some. At this point, I've got a little mixture going here. It's a little bit of everything. But I am going to pull out a couple of my greens that I like to use. And let's see, we're going to use green gold.
We have to mix because
You can also, I'm going to use the serpentine green, which was on the list, by the way. I went back and checked my
Just
list.
the one green though.
Yeah.
Green.
And you
Only
can,
green you gave me.
Yeah.
I'm not.
and then the other thing I'm going to pull out is, I have another green, hold on. I have the Jadeite Genuine that I'll use, but if you have like any dark green, it'll work.
Is that kind of a blue green?
Yeah, blue green. It's a blue green.
Mixing up some of that.
All right.
That woman didn't do realistic back.
Nope, she does a lot of diffused backgrounds. We're gonna, and again, I just said this is inspired by her. We're not gonna follow every single thing she does. So the first thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna come in and I am just going to create a wash and put some more. I'm gonna get the whole paper wet, but I'm also gonna put pigment down as I go. So I don't want to go real dark right here. I kind of want to keep it light. And then I can go dark over it, right? So you can see this is how dark I'm going. Look up on the screen.
You're not wetting the paper?
I'm gonna do a French wash. So look at this. I got a bead going. And
Well, you drew all the leaves and I didn't even do that.
you don't have to if you don't want to. You can make it up as you go.
That's what I'm gonna do.
This is fine. But I'm not going very dark here. You look at the level of green I've got. Kind of mixing as I go.
Did you say you wetted or you didn't wet
I
it?
didn't wet it. I'm just and notice I'm working at an angle here, everybody. This is not I'm using gravity and I've got a little bead going and I'm letting it go down. Now, if I wanted at this point, I can make a gradation, right? I could start getting darker towards the bottom, which is actually not a bad idea, which I'm going to do right here. And start going darker.
I'm gonna start this.
Got some on the flower.
Well, I probably shouldn't do this, but I'm going to get quite dark here. Crikey.
I should have taped the flower out.
I told you to do that.
All right, so there we go. That's my first layer. And now I'm going to take a smaller brush. Let's go with, you know what, if you have never used one of these, sometimes these are called blades or daggers, and it's kind of a chiseled little brush.
Yeah, this
These are great for doing leaves, if you have never tried.
Let me see that.
It's kind of a cool little, here, I'll show you. Get it wet so you can see the shape. That's the shape.
I got one.
Yeah, this is kind of a fun little brush if you have never used it. Now I'm going to come in here and I'm going to get myself some jade green, and I'm going to go for some of the darker areas. And now I'm just painting around, and I'm doing it pretty loosely. I'm not trying to be perfect here. And you can see I'm just outlining the leaves that I already have. And I want some variations in and that's why I'm using this brush, is I don't want it to be perfect. So, I'm going around my leaves, and I'm going to come take a look at what you're doing here in just a second. Now, it is important, if you haven't figured it out on this painting, to have a semi-dark background. You do not want a really light background. You want a dark background on this flower so the flower stands out. If your background is not dark enough, then your values will not make the painting, it will not make the flower stand out. So look how dark I'm getting.
Is there any reason you didn't wet the paper on this time?
You can wet it if you like. I just wet it as I did the French wash. So I added a complete wash of pigment, and then I went in and I'm adding more. So look at how this is kind of cool. See how it makes a leaf? So it does a really good job of
I
that.
haven't used it in a while.
Does anybody have pliers? I can't open, I have strong hands.
Here, especially down here around this bottom petal, I want it to be really dark. So I'm going in and making it really dark down there. And so we definitely want and this jadeite green is really good for making deep, lush green backgrounds if you haven't used it before. So now I got most of my darks in. Now I'm going to go back and throw in some of the green gold and give myself some warm tones in there. And notice, because it's so wet, see how it blends together pretty well? And it starts looking like a very out of focused background. How are we doing?
We're doing.
Everybody feeling good?
Oh,
No. I'm still drawing, you don't mind me.
It's like,
Oh, there you are, like this. Okay.
So if you think about it, this little exercise or this painting is using a lot of the principles we've already learned. Put a little thought into what you want your background to look like.
That's good enough.
Yes, I just masked part of it, but you masked the entire flower, but I didn't.
Yep, I did. All right, I'm gonna let that dry. Let's go around and see how everybody's doing. I like it. Definitely got enough water, that's good. I like seeing the water. Go darker, that's what I'm gonna tell you. Get as dark as you can.
Look.
Mix something darker.
Mix some blue, some dark blue into it, and that will help. And don't do small, do a pretty good puddle, because you need a decent sized puddle of it. I would recommend going darker. Go darker, because then it'll dry, and it'll dry a lot lighter, and you'll end up having to go back again. So you definitely want darker.
What do you need?
Going dark.
And Sue, I applaud you, but I don't have that kind of patience.
I
to
know,
apply
I'm just doing
measures.
the edges.
You're just gonna do the edges?
Yeah, I'm just doing the edges.
Okay, way to go.
I know, because I don't want to trust my masking tape, because he's,
You don't trust masking tape? Do you not like it?
Well, no,
Lots of
it's
blue.
just my masking tape,
Blue with
remember it
green.
lifted up
Yeah,
on
blue
you?
and green.
When you were doing that painting, so I'm like, okay, no.
Well,
It was
you
my
should-
drafting tape, I need to get new net
Well,
masking.
here, I can give you some masking tape if you
No,
want
it's
to
too
use
late,
it.
Terry, I'm
I've
already
got-
masking.
Too
Got
late
plenty of
now.
masking
Late
tape.
now.
It's okay, I'm almost done. I haven't,
Especially around the petals. Go dark first. Go as dark as you can first shot.
So this was your first layer, and it came out terrible because.
That's fine, you won't notice it so much when you start putting the leaves in. So
So should I do dark the whole thing?
no, so you see how I kind of negatively painted some of the leaves up there?
Yes.
And then I went back and I put in some green gold over the top of that. That's probably a better option than going dark and then trying to lift to put the leaves in. So do some negative painting and paint in, and in your case, what I would do is probably do 5 or 6 leaves and paint around them, and then don't worry about anything else. And I'll come back to you when we get there, okay? But go dark, make a good, you need a much bigger puddle, and it needs to be wet.
I'm working on it.
Lots more. So yeah, you're seeing, so I would get a paper towel and lift that up, because it'll take forever to dry. And Davis, don't be afraid to go dark. Darker. Dark.
Yeah, I'm not gonna.
Dark.
Say the same thing.
Please stop being afraid of color and water.
I can't get mine to
You
go
guys,
dark.
look,
That
you
one-
guys
I
are
can't
still
get that-
using these little teeny tiny, look, I'm gonna pull out a 20 and give every one of you a 20, go buy some freaking paint, put it on your damn palette. Use more paint.
Yeah.
Use more water. You need a much bigger, look at my pool up there.
I can't get them enough. I don't know what I do wrong. I can't get enough.
Well, so what I would say is, you gotta mix more, a bigger puddle. Look at how wet my palette is. Look at that. Look how much I'm using right there. Look at that. No, but not one of you have that much color or that much water on your palette right now.
So
You
Ted,
need,
talk about this, because when I do that and I put a load of paint on there and then I put a load of water,
Yeah.
so now I got a nice big stinking puddle, and then I put it on here and it's so light and weak. And
okay,
it's
that's
so-
because
what
you
mine
have to mix in more pigment. More pigment. Guys, look, I put more pigment down in that little thing right there than you guys put on your whole palette. So don't be afraid. Go with some color. Look how thick I'm putting this on right now. Watch. Look at this. And is it running? And look at the angle I'm working at.
Wait, that's wet on almost.
That's
dry?
wet on it's still pretty wet. I'm waiting for it to dry. Bigger puddles. Look. You want me to mix a puddle for you on yours? I'll help you. Here, look at this. This is what I use right here. You want me to help you? Watch this. Now start putting some paint in it. Here, I'll do it for you.
You put water on your plate, on your thing first, and then add paint.
Sure.
Well, that might be it.
Here.
Oh, wow. Oh.
Mix that up.
Okay, no, okay.
That's a lot.
Okay.
Go, make a puddle.
But see now, did you see how much paint he used?
So you really have to get your well, if it's in your well,
You
you gotta
need
get
more
your
water.
well wet.
Your
Need
well has
water.
to be more than wet. It has to be like sitting for 30 minutes. Because you know how like when we wet the well,
Right.
only the
And
top
so I should have done
superficial
that.
Yeah, I
layer.
can't get my paint to even come off. I've run out of mixes.
Hold on, you need more
You have to
paint.
let it sit.
More paint?
Okay, come look at Allie. I wish you would have seen the amount of paint
Here,
he put.
don't. So look. none of y'all, now, paint your background, and when you're done, I'll bet you don't have any water or paint left. Hurry.
What am I, I'm just doing the leaves?
Just doing the leaves. You don't do the, you can do the, actually, do positive leaves. So do a bunch of leaves, just do them that dark. Go for it. And even darker is better. Keep going. Darker is better. Here,
He used, Courtney
try
used,
this. Try that.
he used a
Try it.
fingernail.
Use it.
And a bu-
Don't, just put it on there and look how dark it is.
And
Nope, didn't
that
it? Just put it on there.
He plopped paint down. We're not getting the paint down.
That's how much water, that's how much pigment you want right there. See that?
That's
Try
what's
that.
going on there.
Lots more. More is better.
This is a nice brush.
So Terry, then really honestly, we need to be using paint out of a tube.
Yeah, that's what I said in the, yeah, paint out of a tube. If you're using pan paint, you have a very hard time. You will have to do multiple layers to get up to where I did. Look how fast that went. I finished that in 2 minutes.
That's, okay, that makes sense
I
now.
painted the whole thing in 2 minutes.
Yeah, that's.
You want me to help you? Let me help you.
Oh, I have water.
Let me help you. No, you don't.
I'm so stressed
Here.
because I didn't do this, but I
Oh.
didn't see it last night.
Oh my God.
Here.
See? Oh my God, everybody's
What
like,
color is
oh
this?
my
This
God.
is jadeite genuine.
Jadeite, Jadeite.
Here.
Wait, so this is background, not leaves or leaves?
Those are backgrounds, leaves, whatever you
Whatever
want
you
to
want.
do. Here.
What do you need?
Here you go. You're doing, yeah. Go, and that's good. Use that, and that consistency right there. You need help? It's getting there, it's getting there. It's not there yet. Keep going, darker. More paint.
I don't want that.
Here, let me give you some too.
I have a gazillion tubes, I just didn't bring them.
Here.
Because you said those, I put those in there, but I got a gazillion. Whoa.
See?
Dang.
Y'all are afraid to use your paint. Use your paint. Don't hold back. Use it. Who needs some more paint? I got paint on my palette up here. Who wants it?
But you get the dirt.
Look how dark that is. Use it.
Yeah.
Paint. Just paint leaves. Don't do that. Don't do that. Do this. Do this. Use this blade and go like this. Here. Hold on. You need a bigger one.
Well,
That's a chisel. I mean, it's good. It's not bad. But yeah, keep going.
Terry, why don't you take your brush, but it shows, that
Here.
is nice.
Try this. Try that. It's different, right?
Longer.
Try it. You need darker. You need darker.
So what about our lighter spots?
You gotta go darker.
How do we go light and dark?
I'll show you.
I think I,
Just okay. You're going too dark all the way across. What you want to do is
right.
leaves. Do leaves.
Oh, okay.
Don't do do splotches of dark. And then
And leave
and
light.
then what I would do is like, do you mind?
Uh-uh.
All right. What I would so mine's kind of dark right now. I would do like this,
Okay.
and you could pick some of that up. That's fine.
Gotcha.
Just keep going.
Okay.
See, I'm sort
Watch how
of doing
dark
that.
this is.
I got a piece of masking tape in there.
Look at that.
See?
And that's a beautiful leaf, like that, all by itself.
see.
That one.
He just did it.
Uh-huh.
Try it. Here.
Oh my God.
Keep going. Trying to do. All right.
all we can see is your paint puddle.
Oh, my fault. I wanted you. The paint puddle was the most important thing to see for this whole thing so far. You've got to get dark. If you're not dark on this painting going in, it won't. This painting will not come out. It's pretty wet, right? I'm going in with some pretty wet, and I'm going to like milk consistency with this. And we want a background that looks like a jumble of leaves, you know, kind of out of focus. Going too dark. You need to pick up soften up some edges, and so you got, yeah. You can overdo it. You don't want just a solid dark background. You need to start making some leaves. And with the color greens you're using, I would go in with like you almost need like a like a neutral tint, or I would even go in with like some red and green mixed together. Red and green mixed together will make it very dark. Don't make it too red, but red will darken up your green. Don't dab. Y'all need to stop with the little tiny strokes. Go with the big brush strokes. Use your big brush. Now I'm going to remove the tape. Let's see how the tape held. Because I got wet with it.
Okay.
And let's see if it did okay. So I just dragged some paint through the, and that's what I want to try to avoid is I don't want to contaminate my flowers, which I just did, with green. It's okay. That was my fault, I kind of dragged it. You got to remove the tape carefully. Boom. And you know what I love when you remove this tape? It already sets the painting up. Look at that. Isn't that nice? Boom.
Yes.
You can already see how the contrast of the painting are setting up. I can already see that now I can see right away whether my background was dark enough, whether it's going to give enough
Pass
contrast.
that over, please.
See, and I got more green with my finger on it. So at this point, if you're following the color scheme, you want to lose the green. So clean up your palette, clean up your brushes. Don't be careful what you might cross, because green will stand out. And if you never noticed this before, phthalo greens, man, I like them, but they get on everything. They're very hard to control. All right, look at that.
Beautiful.
Look how strong that already looks. It's already looking really setting me up for success.
You're finished? Okay.
So, now I am going to mix up my primary colors that I'm going to use on my flowers, which is really going to be like a pink. To be honest, I would be tempted to use a pink, but most pinks are very fugitive. Thank you for that word. I can't think of it. So I'm just going to bring down some alizarin crimson. And alizarin, if you're not using permanent alizarin crimson, your just regular alizarin crimson is very fugitive. So, i.e., it will fade. It will fade.
Would you pass that?
Yeah. To make a perfect painting here, so I'm not gonna like painstakingly go through. But here's what we're going for here. Look at all the transitions, right? And look at now. I'm gonna go down here and look at my palette. I want y'all to watch me mix my red up for this. All right. Pay attention to how big a puddle I'm making.
Did you put red on there first? Directly on your palette?
No, I just grabbed it out of my. So if you look, before we even get started, if you're thinking about how big a puddle to make, come up here and look at mine.
Good. Very good.
And now I'm making one pretty dark puddle and one pretty light, so one's milk consistency and one's tea consistency. All right? Now, I'm gonna really thin this down because if you look at these flowers, look how light in the reference picture, look how light it is. It's very light.
You mean
All
like
right.
the grain of the flower?
Okay, so wait.
Grain of the flower. So look at these flowers. They have like a grain to them. If you come around to this side, Davis, you can see it better.
Come this way, Dave.
I'm not getting that.
So you can see that the flower has, and I'm painting this petal right here, right?
Okay.
So you can see the flower has a grain to it. And so I am painting it in the direction the grain is going, right? And notice I started off with my lightest lights. And look how big my puddles are. So now I have my first one. Now I'm going to come in and I'm going to go and watch this.
It's all the same color, you're sticking with the alizarin.
Yeah. Yeah. Now I'm going to let that dry, and I will come back to this. And what I'm looking at is down here is the darkest.
How did you resize your photo to that size?
I just went in and did photo edit and then blew it up and cropped it. And I'll show you how I did that. So right now that looks pretty red, but it will dry. It looks redder on the TV than it does in person.
It doesn't get that big.
No, but he draws it. We go to FedEx, print it, they'll print it.
My
on
prison
11
bags just yesterday, so I couldn't print it.
Okay, so the first layer is the lightest, and then while it's wet on wet, you're putting.
I'm gonna put in some of my dark and get my gradation going.
Okay.
So at this point, now I'm gonna come in and I don't want that to drip.
Right.
So I'm gonna pick it up. I could do it with a thirsty brush, but I'm just gonna do it with paper towel real quick. Pick up my little puddle, right? And I'm gonna let that dry. And I'm gonna move on to the next flower. And notice I've just rinsed my brush out, went back to a lot less pigment, and I'm coming back up here, and I'm gonna do my next flower. Now I don't want these two to touch,
No.
because if it touches, it will go into the next leaf, and I don't want it to do that.
Are you gonna do them all in alizarin, or are you gonna switch up and add a different color?
This is all gonna be alizarin.
All alizarin.
All alizarin.
But you go around, instead of picking a leaf that's far away, you're gonna go right back and leave a white border.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
If you look, there's a little bit of a white edge there.
Yeah.
I'm gonna leave that in there,
Okay.
and I'll let it be part of the edge of the flower.
Okay.
And in fact, like, so now I'm going, and then I'm doing this little flower. It's almost white.
It is. It's very,
So
very light.
I'm going down and straining down to almost no pigment, just a little, but I am giving it a tinge. And really, truly, by doing it this way, this is going to go pretty fast, right? So now this petal here is this petal here, and it's about a medium, as far as pigment goes. So again,
So complicated, might you do swatches so you know?
I am trying to hit the value of the reference. That's what I'm doing. If you could do it as complicated as you want, but I don't think it'll make it better. All right, and so I wouldn't recommend swatches.
What do you mean by swatches?
Well, there's so many variations of that pink, so I thought maybe if you swatch it out a little bit.
See how, look at this value in relation to that value. So that's what I'm looking at. I want to meet that same value level there. And it's going to bleed a little bit. Watch this.
So with the
Bam!
quinidone giving you the same kind of pink?
Quinacridone?
Quinacridone.
Quinacridone will work. I don't know that it would be. Quinacridone might be too granular, so you'd have to be careful with that.
I'm using.
I like this because it's not so granular.
You can have a grainy picture.
Yeah. Because with my green.
So I think this needs to be a little bit darker.
I don't even get it as dark as you need to. It's such a light.
Is that the beauty of the alizarin crimson, that it's like the most transparent? Is it-
It's very transparent, yeah. And that's, and you know, the beauty of watercolor is in its transparency. So this is good. I just want this leaf to stand out a little bit more.
Okay, so this is all dry on wet. I mean, dry on dry application.
Dry
and
on,
then-
wet on dry, yeah.
Wet on dry, and then we're just adding more where we want it to be
Yeah,
darker.
and then when this is dry, there'll be some areas, or when it gets to it, I could come in here and start lifting.
Yes,
You want to be careful with that because alizarin crimson has this. Watch what it'll do, and sometimes it works out great, sometimes it doesn't. But you see,
Yes.
it will create these little that almost look like little balloons,
yes.
and you got to be careful with that. But it is a good medium to lift if you're paying attention to what I'm doing now.
Well, yeah, what are you doing?
I'm lifting out some.
Oh, you're making some.
I'm making some of the veins in my petals. Looks pretty good. Don't mess with it. That's my biggest thing. Stop messing with it.
It's really hard not to do.
It
Don't
is.
mess with it and make it darker.
Yeah.
And use more.
Start dark. Go dark. Right?
I thought you said good light on that pedal.
I am. I'm just saying that's my
Don't
mark.
confuse us.
So this is it, guys. I just do the same thing over and over again, right? And I'm now just going to go in and follow the same process for each petal.
If you wanted to do this more abstractly, how would you approach it?
I would, well, since I way I'm going now, it would be very hard to back up and do it abstract. But
Let's say
if I was
looser.
if I was going looser, I would probably, I don't know. Flowers are very hard in watercolor to go super loose, right? In which case, I would now have to get out a big brush and try big strokes. Yep. But it would if you're not good at that, look at the apples. If you're not good at that, you're going to end up with a big round mess
Yes.
that will bleed into it, and it won't.
You need mine, because mine's the mess.
Yeah, mine is good.
No. What I mean is, if you can paint an apple like I did the other day and make it look that good, you could probably do loose flowers. But if you're not painting an apple with big brush that makes it look that good, you're not at a point where you're going to do a flower, I can tell you that.
Jerry, I have a question for you. So when you're doing this and you're squinting and you're finding your darkest darks and your lightest lights, do you do one like the light so you have a basis for where the light is and then the darks are where the basis of the dark is and everything else needs to be in between? Or because you seem to just be going around, and I'm just wondering, like, how do you know? Because like some of them shade from, but it's not the lightest lights. This is the lightest light. So I'm trying to figure out how to know, because there's only a few of them. There's this one.
So
this
what
one,
I'm
this one.
looking at is what is the value of that petal? And so I'm trying to hit the value of that petal. And then I look at the relation to the petal next to it,
Yeah.
right? So in this case, like this petal came out pretty close where I want it. This petal is a little lighter than what I originally wanted it. So I'm going to go back in and do another layer on it.
Okay.
Could you have done a very light pink over the whole thing, like a wash over the thing?
I wouldn't do that.
You would not.
You're going to create a big mess.
Okay.
If I went in and did a full pink wash, number one, I'm going to lose all my whitest highlights.
Well, I'm leaving that open.
So the only thing, if you're gonna do a wash over the whole thing, the only wash you could do would be to the lightest highlight color. That's it. So what did I gain by doing that?
Maybe a little faster.
Yeah, I don't think it's gonna go faster.
I'm learning the data brush.
Okay. It's interesting to me how much darker it is on the TV than it is in real life.
Right. Are you done?
I'm gonna do another wash over mine, I think. I want it even darker.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You do need it dark.
How's it going, Dale?
Also notice, guys, I'm using my biggest mop brush that I feel comfortable with in this painting. I'm not using a little tiny brush, and I'm not doing little tiny strokes. I'm using pretty big strokes, right? Notice I'm do pretty much the whole leaf. Definitely using gravity to my benefit. And I don't mind going down to really thin washes. And this is why I needed a really dark background, because I need this to stand out. This is where I need a little music going in my studio. They normally do.
Yeah, I mean, because when we do pastels in here, we're always listening to music.
Mhm.
I know, when they get that way, they're just.
What do you think pastels are all?
Nancy Mansfield?
Nancy in here
I think, man, one of those classes sold out like almost immediately.
Yeah.
She's got, a regular student following.
Yep.
They all message each other as soon as.
As soon as it's ready.
Vanessa
The
puts
same
that
with-
out there.
The same with Sue.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Sue's classes all go pretty quick.
Yep.
I told Sue I wanted to take her class. She said no.
I said, no way you're taking my class.
You're not allowed to refuse anybody.
I'm like,
Oh,
wait a
yeah.
minute.
Terry would be bored to tears.
You look at them, make the rules anymore.
No,
But,
it's not coming
but-
to my class.
but,
Absolutely not.
but,
I told him I'd tell him what, well, he knows what I'm teaching,
But-
because I tell him.
all right, I'm coming around. And out of that really big puddle that I made all of y'all mix up, how many of you are almost done with all of it?
This bread?
No, I'm just trying. You didn't mix me any.
That's all I
No,
told you, there's a whole
No,
bowl.
I said for you to mix it up, but I said
Oh,
I
thought
made
were
you mix it.
Go around giving people paint a few months ago.
Oh,
I didn't give it.
well, I'll give you some.
Ah!
I got some paint for you.
If not paying the $20.
All right. I'm getting y'all to use more paint. It's hard. It's costing me money.
Yeah, it is.
I think the next time if you tell people bring tubes,
It-
because see, we're all kind of used to putting it in a pan.
Use tubes.
Okay, everybody hear that?
Yeah.
I will,
You know, we're used
I
to
will
putting
put
it in
it.
a pan, so therefore,
I mean, you could get the same thing with a pan.
Yeah.
You can.
Oh,
You just have to wet it.
But it takes
Yeah.
forever.
Yeah.
It does take a lot longer to
Wait
get
the
it
paints
with a
up as soon
pan.
as you get in the class. They'll be ready.
oh, you just hush up. You're no better than the rest of us.
Yeah, they'll be ready. You don't have to bring
You're the
all your
same as
tubes.
us, Sue. You're the same as us in
You don't
here.
have to bring all your tubes.
We're doing it. Bring them all. I'm bringing every one of them.
I'm bringing
all
all 15 things of my paint too, so when he says a thing, I'm gonna open it up and find it.
When I came to visit Sue's class, there were some of y'all that had like 4 and 5 pallets stacked on top of each other.
There are some that
And I'm
really
like-
love their paint,
I'm like,
man.
wow, that's more paint than I've got.
Yeah, that's true. But see, what we do
But
is
what-
like Sue told
but
us, she
then-
said, these are some of my favorites.
But then,
Then we got her
Then they go out
favorites,
and buy
and we
them.
buy them and put them in a pallet all by itself, and it's called Sue's favorites. Just like this here's called Terry's class.
oh
You
my
know, so we
goodness.
kind of did it that way.
Yeah. Well, I will say that you don't necessarily. It took me a while to learn this. There is no brush. There is no paint. There is no, that is going to make everything perfect.
That's right.
You can paint beautiful, incredible paintings with crappy brushes.
That's true.
You can paint beautiful, and in
Not
fact,
with crappy paint.
so
Don't use
crappy paint is harder to use. But I just
Or
painted.
crappy papers.
I just painted this thing for the Navy, and I painted it out of student grade acrylic, the cheapest paint on the market. Look at this.
Yeah, but it's not going to be. Okay, that's beautiful, but it's not going to be archival. So if
I
you're
don't
going to
really-
sell
It's
it to
covered
them.
in lacquer, and it's never gonna.
Okay,
Oh, wow. That's cool.
beautiful.
But I will say you just because student grade paint has less pigment in it, guess what that means to me? Use more paint.
Yeah, but you know what though, Terry? Some of them, the combination
I
is
don't.
different. So when you go to mix the colors, the
Yeah,
colors
I don't
come
disagree
out
with
the
you.
same.
Don't get me wrong. I'm not a huge advocate of student grade paint.
No,
I'm not. And I
Nor
don't
am I.
I don't agree,
I just
but
think I wasted
but
a
what
lot
I
of
am-
money on it.
but my
early
point
on.
to you guys is, now here's one thing I would splurge on if I was money tight, money conscious in my watercolors. I'd splurge on paper.
Yep.
Paper is
Paper.
the thing to spend in money.
Absolutely.
You can, it's one of the things that will increase the quality of your paintings the fastest.
Dark areas in here, are you not adding anything to that red to, like, anything to it?
Nope.
I blew mine all up.
Everything is relative. So most of the time, I'm looking for what is it in relation to the things next to it. And when I'm going for a particular value level, that's what I'm thinking about most, is how does it compare to the thing next to it for depth and color and value.
You doing wet and wet?
I am not. This is dry. This is all dry. I'm just doing
Jerry, do you ever get lost with the leaves?
oh, easy. Yeah, it's very easy to get lost. It's very, very, very common problem in painting flowers is you will get lost.
I'm getting lost just in my drawing here.
Yeah, me too.
Exactly.
I'm like,
That's why you want a really good
yeah.
drawing when you start off. And to be honest with you, I used to draw flowers out on the actual painting, and I stopped doing that. I draw it on a separate sheet of paper and then trace it over, because it's real easy to get it all jacked up.
Yeah.
Almost be done.
When you transfer, do you just darken the back of your transfer paper with graphite, or
Yeah.
do you use Surround?
No, that's what I did. And it's messy, but so I mean I have. What do I do? Here you go. This is the one I use.
Oh my
So
God.
you're actually drawing it and then you're,
Oh Lord have mercy. I just use, why don't you, well, I guess you're old school. I mean, Sorrel is so easy.
I don't even know what that
This is it. It comes up so easy.
Yeah.
The only problem is when you go wet and wet with it, it disappears.
is. Don't want that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm done.
You are. You did pretty good.
Jeez.
Now, here's what I tell you. Let that dry, and then go put in some darker lines,
Right.
and
Can't
put
do
some
it.
definition on
I
it.
started to do that, but it's too wet. So I
Yeah,
have to wait.
yeah. You need it to dry.
Yep. I don't hate it.
No, you shouldn't. It's good. It's definitely on the right track.
For a small fee, and I'll let you have this.
Why are you always trying to sell me your paintings?
She wants to sell her napkins usually.
I sell my napkins to the VFW in Key West,
Nice.
and I painted with a bingo dauber.
We're not doing too bad on time. I think I might finish this. Might.
well, I might start.
I know.
I'm so slow.
Okay, let me come around and do yours.
I'll tell you, I'm working on a doozy of a napkin here.
Yeah, I have a friend of mine who was the command master chief of that base, and he said it definitely was one of his more challenging.
Good water right there for the lightest color
is.
possible.
He had a lot of issues.
Lots of them. I see them on the road. You ever seen the Gravity Chronicles?
Are you scrubbing the paper, Mary?
I'm taking my mask off.
Oh, I'm like, what in the world? What process are you using over there? Got it.
Look at this.
Like,
Where did that drawer go?
It's over here.
Go on here.
Right over here.
From far away, mine looks like really nice.
It's not bad, you got a lot of work with
I
it.
got a lot of blooms on it, but I'm making it happen.
on dry, or once you get those lines going that way?
It's pretty much wet on dry.
Wet on dry.
And you can see I'm not being overly careful on this. Putting them in there.
And you said that's your, that's a mop?
Mhm.
What size mop is that one?
2.
I think I'm doing more mops. I think I'm actually, it's easier to get,
This is more like a quill because it's got a sharp point.
yes. But I think that they hold more water.
They
than
do,
your mop.
absolutely.
Okay.
Hold more water. For sure.
So when you paint from the color photos.
I usually use my tablets. There's a lot of people who will tell you don't paint from a tablet. I
Often just paint from this black and white.
you can. I've done it a lot.
I mean, what is the better option? Color? Because I don't have a color photo.
I don't either.
That's why we
I
have.
just paint from the tablet. Yeah.
I'm gonna go in and accent with the Bordeaux. There you go. That's one way to call it.
Have you ever done any airbrush before?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Back when I was a commercial artist, I did a decent amount of airbrushing.
Bet you really good at it.
Well, with everything, it's all about how much time you put in, how much practicing you do. You know, I mean, you can get good at anything. When I first started airbrushing, I was horrible. I was just, you know what I truly think about art is, I think everybody has the ability to be a good artist. I think what happens is, as a young boy, my mom was an artist, and she would make a little place for me to do art while she was painting. And she even when my art was horrible, she would tell me how great I was, and I believed her.
I love that.
Well, that's good though. She gave you encouragement to continue on.
And I like oil painting, but my problem, I told y'all early on, my big problem with oil painting is I could do between 6 and 12 oil paintings a year, or I can do between 6 and 12 watercolors a month.
Right.
Yeah.
Watercolor is not as respected though as oil.
No, well, that's kind of funny to me because like somebody like John Singer Sargent, who reached the pinnacle of oil painting,
Right.
said, okay, I'm done with this, and never painted oil again. He just painted in watercolor for the rest of his life. And if you haven't seen his watercolors, they're amazing. They're really
I
gorgeous.
have a book of his, just his watercolors, a big fat book. I was gonna bring it in, but I forgot.
Every once in a while they will get some of his watercolors at the Chrysler, and they are always really good.
Water over top. Oh, with a little fuchsia color, yeah.
Yeah, I use some,
More red. I'm gonna add a little, because when it gets back in here, it's kind of shaded, so I'm gonna add a little darkness there.
Oh, that's the same
What
red.
color are you painting the negative in a brown?
No, this is all red.
You're
It's
still
just-
sticking it to the.
I just added a little tiny bit of neutral tint because there's a real shadow over here in the corner, and I don't want it to be red. I want it to be kind of shadowy. So I am adding some red or some neutral tint, but that's it. That's all I'm going to do right there. Everything else will just be red. So as I went in there and I did all that neutral, I just did some negative painting around all of that. You can kind of see. I'm going to let that dry, and then I'll show you how I do the yellow stamens after it dries.
Ooh, that negative painting's hard, isn't it? The statements.
It's all easy if you practice.
Listen to Davis, he knows what he's talking about.
I heard that.
Just keep practicing. Just keep practicing. Just keep painting.
You do?
Yeah, I do.
It's okay. I'm thinking I'm gonna go back to this. 'cause-
I've got this.
Right.
So what do y'all think of this particular lesson?
You know what I'm saying?
Flowers are
Not
my
if I had
favorite
to
because
do
I don't
it
like
with
flowers.
I
But
would
take it.
it's
Very helpful to have you
and make
paint
one
and
of
us
them
paint at
warm
the
and
same
one of them
time.
cold.
Good.
Because what I kept doing is adding more, and so you see there's green there and then there's green there.
Yeah.
And so I
I
put everything
like
So you
together.
can pop them out.
I can. Yes, I can.
It's just time consuming.
It's right, and I have been lazy. So, and
It's
then
a
there's,
rainy day thing when you
Right.
just do.
and then there's another color
what
that
is
you end up
coming.
getting, and you're like, I never use this, so that needs to go. Or this thing. These are freaky little colors that I thought I loved, but no, I don't love them.
One of the ladies, oh, by the way, if I haven't said anything about it, the September 8th
Exactly. That's what I
is the next Chesapeake Bay Watercolors meeting. So I'd love to see you guys come and start.
And your
I'm gonna
your
be out of
exhibit will be
town.
up then?
Not in September 8th. It'll go up that week, but it won't be up by then, no.
Is someone doing a demo that day?
Yeah, I'm still looking for somebody to do a demo. Who wants to do a demo for the Chesapeake Bay Watercolors?
I just filled mine.
I don't think that's me.
I just use all my green. I'm trying to get darker now.
Yeah.
I'll do it for you, Terry.
You will? You want to do it?
you?
4:30 in the
It'd be
morning.
fun, Davis. You should do it.
Fly down here.
Right.
When are you leaving?
4:30 in the morning.
When?
Tomorrow morning.
You going down to your new house?
No, I'm going to Key West. Going to check on the boat, do a couple things, and see some people.
Do they still have chickens running around in Key
Oh,
West?
yes.
Oh, yeah.
Roosters, aren't they? Roosters.
Well, they have everything.
That was something that surprised me when I went to Hawaii, was just how many chickens are just running all over the place.
Yeah.
Key West are protected.
And Hemingway's cats.
They're all, some of them are weird, like they have weird,
Hi, I'm in class. Hello?
Almost looks like I'm working. I know, my little ass.
But I think I need more paint or something. I'm gonna ruin it.
What's it like?
So,
It's still wet.
going back to, how many of y'all used up all the
Oh,
water
they
puddle that I made for you at the beginning?
Japanese stuff? Okay.
Or you made the big water
No, I still
puddle?
have some.
Well, you can use it all.
Yeah, okay, I'll give you, what time are you leaving for?
Well, if you haven't, come look at mine and see how much is left.
I have one and I started,
Hopefully
you got
it's
6 shade on it.
almost kind of like what she was talking about. I started and I should have just done more like the whole giant thing.
It was
for
supposed,
blue,
it
the
wasn't
whole
supposed to be
giant
up for a
thing.
while.
Yeah, I kind of did a little bit
Yeah,
and
that's
then ran,
crazy.
I don't know. Left a line for red. I didn't realize I was gonna have.
All right, I'll let you know.
reds.
Okay. So do you have an idea what we're gonna do on the first class?
For the next class?
Yeah, like
What are the two
Long
paintings
time
you're
out.
So,
gonna paint?
so the two paintings are, we're gonna do, if you looked at the class perspective and the thing, I have a picture of a crow.
Yeah.
We're,
Oh, what?
of a crow, of a raven, actually, it's a raven.
Oh, the crow.
So we are gonna do the raven first,
So Raven.
Nice.
and then we're going to do a kind of like a Thomas Kincaid painting. So it's gonna be kind of seasonal sort of stuff. Try and do some seasonal fun things.
Raven.
did.
Reminds me of my Ellen Poe story.
Yeah, yeah.
I was a big fan, so when his grandson redid The House of Usher,
Uh-huh.
and he was gonna be at Barnes and Noble signing his book. It was at Christmas. So I decided I wanted to go because I've just been fascinated all my life. And I went in there and I got there early because I wanted to make sure I got a good spot. There was this very mysterious guy walking around in this dark long coat, and he was just looking around and walking around like, oh my God, that's him, just like you would picture for Edgar Allan Poe. And I watched him, and I thought, well, hell, he's late. He's not. What's he going to do the book signing? When's he going to do the book signing? And then finally, I went up and I said, "See, like, you know, what's going on?" They said, "Oh no, he's already signed it." And I looked over, my guy's over there still hanging out. I went to the front of the store, and there was this little red-headed, freckly-looking, pudgy guy with a Christmas sweater. I mean, I took my book and went home. I just ruined it for me.
Just not like you need
No, it was.
you need the
not.
visual.
I
You need the
wanted it
visual.
to be, you know,
The
the
dog.
Raven, Edgar Allan Poe, not a freckled, chubby Christmas sweater guy.
Yeah.
I think I screwed that up.
Come on, that's not possible.
Yeah.
So are you
That's
leaving
my
like white
drawing
edges
here.
on these at all, or are you leaving them?
Well, you can kind of see what I'm doing. So yeah, in some cases I am. In some cases I'm very much leaving a white edge. But one thing I don't like doing, so I like everything to touch, right? So unless you need a really, really, really strong, I don't know what you call it, strong white edge, I don't usually leave like little gaps. I want everything to touch.
What do you mean exactly, between objects?
Yes.
Or, so what, in this particular picture that you're painting, what are you talking about specifically that you need to?
So like, say for example, you see, as I'm painting a petal at a time,
Right.
areas like this are not great because if you look at like right in here, I've left some white
Right.
in between, and that is actually going to be distracting if I leave it like that. So I do not like leaving white specks or where you can see a union between two different colors that are put together. So I want there to be some blending. Like right here, you see this right here. This is not good. This is you know, you need to not have these little white areas. Now, if I'm trying to make a white edge like this area right here, then yeah, that's fine.
Right.
That's a highlight. But if you take any watercolor, you know, classes like from any of the experts, one of the things they don't like, they want everything to look seamless. And that it's a good habit to have. It's a good because that's what makes a much better watercolor. But it is sometimes harder to do than it looks. So did somebody use something other than, I know somebody said they were going to use something other than.
I did not use alizarin.
Yeah, I know you didn't.
Well, Sue did.
No, I used Quinn. Quinn and Bordeaux.
What do you
Quinn
think?
pink.
Are you happy with your decision?
Yeah, I think. Although, you know, it's interesting. I used the Quinn Rose because Quinn Pink, Daniel Smith, is actually granulating.
Yeah.
And I highlighted with the Quinn Pink a couple of places and I'm not loving the granulation.
Alizarin crimson can be very very granulating. Like if you come up here and you look, you can see on my palette that it's definitely some granulation going on my palette. See the?
I love granulation, so that's not an issue for me.
No, it
I
doesn't.
seek it out.
Yeah.
I seek it out. I do. So you're nowhere near at your darkest darks yet.
No, I'm pretty
Like
close.
right here in that corner, is that
That's-
going to be it? You're not going to make it any darker? That's
Probably
it.
not. That's it. Yeah. Yeah.
Had a lot of
I
blooms.
like the loose, I like that. Blossomy, loose edge.
There's always, multiple, it's so funny to me, you can get like 10 artists together all painting the same topic,
It all looks different.
and
Are you done?
it's amazing how different they will all come out.
Halfway. You're done.
Just having too much stuff, because I don't like it anymore. I could do more, but I don't know.
Look at everybody's.
Yeah, me too.
So you are gonna do them in yellow? What yellow?
I probably like close to an Indian yellow or something along those lines, something kind of warm.
Oh, you're back up.
I think also the more you learn, and his will be the he added something. He added neutral. He is a neutral temp. See, I learned that. I mean, he put something else in there.
Are you gonna do it just in yellow, or are you gonna add another color?
Yeah.
Probably just yellow.
I mean, it's amazing. I don't know that way myself. I do too, because it's detailed. It's detailed. And I like details.
Yeah,
And I guess I need to stop fighting that and just go with it.
Right. Right, I think you do. Okay.
Yeah, you are what you are,
I
so.
think you do.
See, now I think your leaves they're very realistic. I can feel that coming forward and around. That does a really nice job.
Wow, look at that.
That's good. This is what I want. Corduroy goes in, comes up and around, nice strokes. I mean, nice, painterly.
Good. Well, we're halfway there.
I know. But I like it. I'm just looking at your shots.
Halfway to go.
Yeah. I don't find using too much water. I have those brushes and I love those brushes. I know
just
they're expensive, but I love them.
Is this a peony?
Yes.
Is it your peony?
No. I have a friend who grows peonies, and in the spring she invites
Me too, and I.
my group to come and paint in her garden.
Oh, yeah. Let's not do
Peonies
that.
are
Layers.
beautiful
Why
in
are you so
person,
upset
but
with the way
impossible
your
to
stuff
paint.
looks? It's because.
They are a challenge. First few times I painted one, I didn't do very well.
It makes things look dead, actually, yeah.
Because it doesn't come through. It doesn't come through.
Everything neat.
Kind of like about watercolors too. Because I keep messing up and I can never go someplace else to let it dry.
So now I have to go around the page. I can't go next to next.
Well, my problem is being, I just have to start on the right and go this
Oh,
way.
you do?
Because otherwise I
You get lost?
No, I just end up getting my fingers in it, like touching things. Yeah. So I go right to left.
I didn't think of that.
Yeah. And that's the problem that I'm having on watching instruction, because they're starting over here with their wash. and
Yeah.
I need
Are you
to-
left-handed?
I am,
Yeah.
and I have to
Both
start
left.
to the right with my wash.
Yes. Oh, you're right.
It took me a really long time to figure that. I have to.
My daughter's-
I have to do opposite.
So my daughter Rebecca, the one we painted, she's left-handed.
Yeah.
She's a lefty too?
Yeah, she's a lefty and she's a hairstylist, so
I used
she has to have left-handed scissors.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
And I have
Yeah.
my left-handed scissors.
Both my daughters are lefties.
And I started out as a hairdresser, way back when I was in school. Yeah. It's another form, it's another.
Do they
art
curl
form.
their hands around when they
Oh, you're
write?
fast out
Yep.
there. Look at
Yeah.
you.
How do you hold a pen?
I drew a paintbrush and I didn't have a
don't know.
photograph and I didn't have the right equipment.
don't.
This morning I did it.
Rebecca is
And so I
better.
don't
She's
have
not as bad as
the-
my dad was. Like he would write like this.
That's
So
how she
highlighted
does,
like
that's
that.
how she's
I'm
painting.
left-handed.
That's all right.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
I think left-handed people tend to be a little bit more creative.
Well, then there's,
They
but
tend to
then
be
you're
more
right,
what?
and then I do, QuickBooks accounting and stuff, and so my right brain
Right.
my left brain.
And at work, I do
Yeah, when you're
Excel
doing-
spreadsheets. Like I do a lot of. Yeah.
And so
Oh,
it's,
look at you.
it can be,
Color in there.
it's very challenging,
Yeah.
but I like it.
Yeah.
What?
Oh, I was just telling Mary, I just don't love some of it, so I think some of it'll be like a first coat,
Mm-hmm.
and then I'll go back over.
Sure.
Yeah.
Now, will you do that, Terry? Will you like go over any of that, or no, it's kind of one and done when you're finished?
It's always better if I can do one and done.
Okay.
I shoot for one and done because it's going to look a lot more fresh if that's the case. But I'm not afraid to go back in and mess with it if I need to.
Okay.
I mean,
It's hard for me to do a one and done.
You like glazes and you
Yeah, I
like
do.
layers. You're a layer glazer roll. Yeah.
But like Terry says, things can look a lot fresher if you.
Right. Well, you know what? Sometimes I think when we push ourselves and try to do it that way,
Yeah.
and you go back and do it your other way, it's the marriage of the two. You
Yeah.
don't do quite as many, and you can create some impressions.
We are all so quiet over here. We're just working away.
yeah, y'all are all just.
And
Nobody's
Mary's done.
breathing.
Mary's down there, she's
How
already
about that?
finished.
Amazing.
I know. And it always looks so unique.
I'm not a flower person, that's for sure. Flower child, but not a flower person.
Yeah. Flowers are art. There's nothing. I don't think there's anything easy about a flower.
What frames did you put in yours? Because yours are very bold frames.
I did it blue green.
Yeah.
I did this.
They're cool. They're really cool. What is that? Oh, aqua. This is fabulous. I mean, it's really interesting. Because mine's warm, but yours is cool. And even the pink is cool. So the whole thing is
Right.
nice harmony.
Well, we're getting pretty close on time.
10 to 4.
We got about 10, 15 more minutes of paint time before we gotta start cleaning up.
Okay. I looked at this and I thought, oh my God, I dumped pink paint all over it. And I realized, oh wait, there's pink all over this thing.
It's happened to me. I know, I'm thinking, oh, I spilled all this out. Oh, what if I just did it? Right.
This is looking good, Terry.
Thank you. It's getting there. I don't like it on the screen as much as I like it in person.
It does look different on screen. It really does.
I gotta work. I think my camera settings, something happened with my color setting. I'm gonna go back in and check it later because the previous paintings we were doing, it actually had pretty good color, and this just looks off. This looks brownish. All right.
Does anybody go with pink opera?
Because it's really
I thought about
fugitive.
doing pink eye.
Yeah.
Because brought it with me.
Pink is so pink.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I did maybe
It is
red
an
and
outrageously
pink
bright mix,
mix.
though.
Oh, did you? Yeah.
But it's still
got-
pink.
Yours has got a better pink.
You know,
to it,
that's like
yeah.
an accent.
And I've got sort of
I
a
feel like
mixture
when
of
you get
Yeah,
all
at the very
over,
end, you
you
got
got
a little
light. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
overwhelming.
Quinacridone.
Oh, here's
That's pretty.
Here's a pink too.
So I've sort of done a combo. What have you done?
I just use a laser and liver in different.
So has have your classes started yet?
No, next week.
I started out
So
with my
thankfully I
legs
didn't
on
have to
that.
do this and.
Yes, and then I had to go and go back and lift it.
So much patience everybody has.
If you want to take the pictures.
No,
I'm throwing them in the trash.
Oh, then I am taking it. Do you mind?
No, totally. I am not painting it anymore.
You had it?
These are like mine.
Yeah.
Take it.
Mine got a lot of business
I
in
can
it.
see what's going
Yeah.
on.
The flowers, I think it's.
How I got painting all over my body, I don't know. This has been like a whole body experience over here.
What are you doing?
I don't know, but I got blue on my arms and my fingernails and
Maybe you're leaning into your board.
maybe, yeah.
Terry,
Mm-hmm.
I'm thinking with this drawing, this would make an excellent cabbage.
You think?
It does have a bit like a cabbage to me also.
Purple cabbage, yeah, that'd be nice.
Not wrong. Well, I don't know what I'm going to do with my Tuesdays from now. I'll have to figure it out.
Oh, I'm sure you'll fill it with something.
Paint.
Can use a cocktail boy on Tuesdays.
Yeah.
Someone serve cocktails and apples, right, Sue? I got a pool boy.
We're not allowed to drink in class.
Who said that?
Hey, you know, because originally I thought it'd be fun to have a paint sip, but there's too much regulations that have to go with it.
Right.
You paint and sip at my house.
Yes, we could do that.
And we're planning on doing that. We want to do a potluck
Okay,
and
count me in.
paint.
It sounds like fun. Am I invited?
Yeah, sure. You are?
Just as long as you don't go into the dabbing, or don't dab.
No dabbing.
Yeah, because once you start
No.
drinking, you might do a little dabbing.
Exactly.
We'll teach you the art of dabbing.
I cannot tell you how many times I have dipped into a wine glass
Oh.
when I was painting, and I will not throw it out. I'm like, I'm drinking it anyway.
I thought you were gonna say it now became my new water glass.
No, I won't throw it. I'm like, okay.
That's funny.
I know, but I don't care. I
That's
just don't
funny.
care. Because I drink good wine, so I am not throwing it out.
It's nasty.
All right, so I'm going in now and I'm putting in my stamens.
That's not bad.
That's not that good.
I get, that just looks like a,
Hibiscus. Looks like a hibiscus to me. Yeah. Mine doesn't look anything like that. But that's all right.
So, if you get a chance, go into the Facebook page and post your flower.
Okay.
And do your survey.
Please.
Where's the survey?
Online.
It's where the classes are.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, when you go to classes, and it'll actually say, review your, critique or review a recent class.
Doesn't it say evaluation?
I mean, it's something that makes sense.
It's something that sounds right when you read it.
That's right. I used to send the link to my class, but then the problem is it is attached with my email. So then they go in and they have to change the email address.
Right.
So I don't send the link to them. And then the last class, I had a guy who, for some reason, couldn't pull it up at all. Email the,
Sue, look at me.
Well,
That picture, that picture would be.
I was
different
afraid that I was
in
flicking a lot of green
I
in
know,
my,
like, what in the world am I doing here?
I have had fun. I hope all of you have
Oh,
had
yeah,
fun.
it was great, Terry.
There was good
And,
class, thank you.
I hope y'all got as much out of it as I did, because I think you learn more by
Oh,
teaching.
yeah.
That's what they say, for sure.
Because you don't, I don't think of all the questions you guys would ask, or forces me to think ahead a lot more.
The hard part is answering questions while you paint.
And some of it's like, some of y'all ask me questions like I hadn't even thought, like I don't even consider, like, why are you doing that? I don't know.
Where did that come from?
I don't know why I'm doing that. Leave me alone.
Yeah. We're picking on you.
Alright, I'm just gonna come up and take a picture, so I